cutting edge of anomaly research. You are about to experience The Evidence with your host, 3D pioneer and image analyst with Mars X3D, D.W. Burnett.
Well, hi there, and welcome to episode number 64 of The Evidence. This is your buddy Dave over Mars X3D, and a quick reminder, this is an X3D channel. You cannot buy any kind of glasses that will allow you to see it. You have to learn the simple technique of X3D viewing, which is down below in the description. Everybody can learn it in 2 minutes, and kids especially have no problem at all. You know, they say that only advanced quantum physicists and children can understand hyperdimensional shapes, and that's kind of the same here. X3D is so simple, you'll be amazed when you get it, and you'll wonder why you ever had a problem with it. Give it a try. Anyway, let's see. Oh, a shout out to Photography, Light, and Magic. One of our team members helped me out with a couple of tips to deal with the screen door mask that NASA seems to want to put over many of its images nowadays to obscure things. There may be a legitimate reason for it, but mostly it just makes it a lot more difficult to get a clear picture. So those tips worked like a charm. You'll see them in the Planck anomaly that we're going to look at in just a minute. So thanks so much, my friend, and to all of you, thanks for stopping by. Let's dive into it. We're starting out today with the always prolific Terry Burnett, who shared this one just recently. There's a bit more than he pointed out in his original post, so let's go in and take a look. In front of what looks like a constructed wall, another wall section lies buried in the sand at an angle. Coming off the back of that main wall is another that continues into the shade and butts up against another larger wall that runs right and left in the background. If you look just above the citation link, there's an arrangement of rocks that could possibly be a collapsed staircase, but that's just loose speculation. What isn't loose are these walls sticking up out of the sand. Keith Laney turns out some beautiful work. One of our team members, Dean Sattler, pointed out a couple items that really I couldn't even classify. I even checked with my alternate identities, but Skippy wasn't able to figure them out either. And once again, my water moccasin corollary holds true to form. There's another one right nearby inside the red target area. An anomaly, not a water moccasin, just to clear things up for my Iowa friends. But let's look at what Dean found. Now, what do you call these two things? I don't think they're machine remnants, but they certainly have the appearance of being worked. That little guy in back is covered with symmetrical 90-degree angles, but what gets me is that perfect semicircle carved just to the left. Let's take a look at the other water moccasin in the center of the context picture. What are we looking at here? To me, that looks like a big bubble that popped. But what else do you see here to make this fall into the artificial category? Let's do a quick inventory. Starting on the left, take a close look at whatever those things are sticking out of the inside. They look like fittings to my eye, but whatever they are, they sure don't fit the mineral category in terms of their shape and their position. To the right of that, the arrow points at the corner of the big square base that supports our popped bubble. And just to the right of that, another strange shape that may be connected to the base. The last arrow on the right points at yet another collection of right-angled oddities of different sizes. To my way of thinking, when you take all these things together, they spell RTFSL, artificial. This plank-like object in the upper left is something Terry Burnett pointed out just recently. And going along with my water moccasin corollary, if you see one, another will likely be nearby, I found two other items of interest in this context view. But let's start with that plank. As usual, Murphy makes certain that most of the interesting things in any given shot are right at the edge of the picture. Anyway, this thing definitely looks like a beefy plank, maybe a 3x6. It's hard to imagine a piece of rock fracturing so evenly and sticking up at an angle like that. Of course, it could be a metal beam as well, but those parallel lines, 90-degree angles, and even thickness throughout its length, well, it sure is tempting to think this isn't natural. Let's move on to the other items. Maybe it's just me, but this looks like a piece of boilerplate bent at a 90-degree angle and covered with rivets. That left side is so perfectly circular and the angles are so clean that as far as I'm concerned, this is a chunk of industrial debris that might have been part of the building or factory where the plank originated. And since Murphy is so insistent, let's go back to the very edge of the picture to take a look at these two guys. Now, I agree that the piece standing up on the left could be a slab of rock that eroded through with a perfect hole. But then we have those angles and that parallel ridge at the top. And notice what an odd angle it's at. This plate isn't balanced by some freak of nature. Nope. It seems to be attached to the structure beneath it. More to the point is that square plate with the holes in it inside the target area. You want to explain to me how that came about? In my opinion, these four items speak to the violent cataclysm that destroyed Mars. It seems reasonable to assume that they all likely originated with whatever facility that lay in the path of the global tsunami and mega hurricane winds. These were massive, almost unimaginable forces that scoured the surface of the planet. As usual, I can't help wondering what truly amazing artifacts still remain hidden beneath the sand. We're going to leave Mars for a moment and take a look at the beautiful Gigapan of the Moore F lunar crater that my buddy Neal Spence just released. True to form, my friend Jim West was on it like a June bug on a peach when it first came out, and he found something that just seems crazy to me. It was only natural to call this one Lunacy, but that's no reflection on either of these two courageous and redoubtable men I just mentioned. Now bear in mind, these are orbital images, so not only is the 3D somewhat skewed, but the objects we'll be looking at are far bigger than they appear here. And there it is, just sitting there being crazy. Let's move in tight so you can see more details. That black part looks like the opening of a machine shed, doesn't it? And look at those 3 circles going down the right side. They remind me of the type of ventilator fans that go on commercial chicken houses. What looks like big steps are below and towards the front. I really doubt they're steps. I mean, they'd be way too big, at least for humans. And what is it tucked inside that building? The natural assumption is that it's a vehicle, a really large vehicle that may be sheltered, offloaded, repaired, or maybe recharged in that facility. Just irresponsible speculation, of course. If you take the time to go look at this Gigapan, you'll find anomalous structures just about everywhere you look. Here are a couple I came up with that I wanted to share with you. There are a number of possible structures in this image. It may be possible that some of them are simply processing errors, but we'll take a look at them anyway if you promise to bring along your grain of salt. Let your eyes look for the non-fractal lines. I'll help you out here by highlighting the areas of interest. These two look like 2 shelters or maybe lean-tos to me, with equipment parked inside of them, and look at that big rectangular apron in front of the two shelters. Here are some more. That second one to the right of the first looks unoccupied. There even seems to be structural bracing on the inside wall. Then there's this pyramid and large square platform as well. You can see more structures in the background if that's what they are. I get the impression this entire area is a mining complex. Both Neal and Jim do great work, and I urge you to click the link in the description and take a look at this Gigapan. Alexander Liah is one of our team members who has developed X3D software that automatically renders stereo pairs from NASA into X3D. If I can remember it, I'll put a link down below. While the methods I use are quite different from his software, this new approach can be an invaluable tool for those interested in taking their anomaly hunting to the next level. This image was taken by the MahliCam mounted under the rover, and you can easily see the small metal part inside the target area. You know, whenever we find clearly mechanical parts, naysayers always fall back to the old saw, "It came off the rover." The problem is, with all the times they've invoked that sacred mantra over the years, there should be nothing left of good old curiosity. That brings to mind a couple of other things I've run across over the years. How about this metal bracket from Opportunity 4274? Or this metal curlicue from Curiosity 901? Or this castered plate from Curiosity 1450? There are a lot more examples that'll be part of our Best of 2020 video slated for the end of this year. The point is, the evidence is out there if you take the time to look for it. Hey, thanks for stopping by today. You know, if you have something you'd like me to take a look at, you can always send it to me, a snapshot and a link, please, at marsx3d@gmail.com. The email is down in the description, of course, and if you haven't joined the activity and conversation over on Facebook, come on over, check it out, and see if you'd like to become part of the team over there. Also, if you're interested in Alexander Liah's X3D automatic processing software, there will be a link below where you can check that out, download it, and see if it's something that you like. I sure appreciate you having a look here. So many of you have learned the X3D technique and are using it very effectively. I'm delighted to have you on board with us here. And meanwhile, well, the work continues. 40 hours a week looking through hundreds of images. So this is your buddy Dave over at Mars X3D. Be well.